What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well today. A global movement of farmers and citizens is taking a stand against emissions-cutting strategies that they believe are actually designed to punish regular people like me and you while letting billionaires and technological centralists' interests get off the hook with carbon offset scams. Yeah, carbon offset scams. They're getting more elaborate, these guys. But let's count this one as a win. Check this out.
Unbridled joy for Caroline van der Plas as her party shook up the Dutch political landscape on Wednesday evening. Founded just 4 years ago, the BBB is now projected to be the largest party in the Senate.
This could mean we will be the biggest party in the Netherlands. This isn't normal, not normal. Well, actually, I do find it normal, but I never expected it.
The elections that took place were provincial, but they also indirectly decide the makeup of the country's national Senate. The BBB, or Farmer Citizen Movement, is projected to be the largest party in the Senate, with 15 out of 75 seats. The same amount as the Labour Party and Dutch Green Party coalition. Prime Minister Mark Rutte's party, VVD, is predicted to go down from 12 to 10 seats. And according to Van der Plas, this will make the governing coalition take her party seriously.
What does this mean for the coalition in the Senate? They already had a small majority, but now it's reduced to almost nothing. That means they have to start negotiating with BBB seriously.
The BBB have rallied against the government's environmental policies since its formation in 2019, especially the government's aims to cut nitrogen emissions in half. The BBB says the problem has been exaggerated and that proposed solutions are unfairly balanced against farmers, leading to the closure of many farms.
Their slogan's real catchy too. No farms, no food. Simple as that. Now, why don't we add no politicians and no wars? I mean, am I right, guys? Drop me your thoughts in the comments down below. But that's not all. An investigation by the Vera Carbon Standard has revealed that more than 90% of rainforest carbon offsets by the biggest certifier are worthless, and they could actually make global heating worse. And if that's not enough, guys, make sure you sit up and take notice of this one. The Great Food Reset has already begun, and we're all losing from the global war on the farmers. That's right, there is a war on our farmers as well. I hope you guys are seeing what's happening. You remember the report that I delivered to you guys a couple days ago about 18,000 cattle that died during an explosion, right? Please tell me how that could possibly really be an accident. We don't have time to waste, guys. We need to take action now to protect our planet, our food systems, and more importantly, our future. So this channel is here to help provide you guys with the truth and to empower you to make a difference. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Also, for the best way to invest in gold or silver, make sure to hit the link in the description down below of this video. So let's talk real talk for a minute. We can't just swallow the propaganda and listen to those neoliberal mouthpieces who want to bring down a popular uprising. We got to stand up for what's right and actually change centralized or foreign powers. So do me a solid one and just go ahead and turn the notification bell on right now if you haven't already. Make sure you don't miss out on future videos. I create new content for you guys every single day, multiple times a day, and I want to make sure that you guys are not missing out, because together we can make a difference. Now, I already mentioned this earlier. The Farmer Citizens Movement, or BBB in the Netherlands, is pretty awesome. These farmers and citizens are coming together to take on centralized power and stand up for what's right. But you guys know how it is. You know, as soon as people start making moves, the neoliberal mouthpieces accuse them of being far right. But the truth is, people are finally waking up to the fact that environmental, social, and governments, the ESG strategies, and the greenwashing just are not going to cut it. And they're not going to be the ecological solution that the world needs. And it's not just the Netherlands. People all over the world are realizing this. And guess what, you guys? The BBB is making waves in the political landscape too. Founded just 4 years ago, they're now projected to be the largest party in the Dutch Senate. Now, that's something to be excited about. A lot of you guys are asking for good news. This is a sign of good news to come. It may wake up some American people too, you know? There's definitely been a shift in politics starting. Political movements that started just a term ago in most democratic nations are gaining momentum, and that's cause for optimism. But you guys know the media establishment. They're going to find any way that they can to condemn and undermine and demonize it. Now, as for the BBB, they're focusing on fighting these emissions-cutting strategies that are really just being used to serve a centralizing agenda. Like, Dutch farmers are losing their farms, while the biggest polluters in the world get to use carbon offsetting and greenwashing to avoid penalties. That's right, guys. Let's get into it. The BBB, or Farmer Citizens Movement, they grew out of mass demonstrations against the Dutch government's proposal to cut nitrogen emissions in the farming sector by 50% by 2030. That is a target designed to comply with the EU's emission reduction rules. But these farmers were not going to take it laying down. They came together and they created a movement, and that's making waves. It's pretty inspiring stuff. I mean, we all agree that it's crucial to preserve and conserve the earth, right? But have you noticed that most of the strategies to achieve that, they usually end up punishing the little guys instead of the big corporations that are actually doing the majority of the polluting? Let me know if you guys feel me in the comments down below. I mean, think about it. They're trying to take our stoves, our gas stoves out of our houses. They want to yank away your gas-powered vehicles. I'll be honest with you guys, I like my V8 vehicle. I like turbocharged cars, supercharged cars. I'm not all that thrilled about EVs, to be honest with you. And so, no, I'm not willing to give up my gas-powered car. And no, I'm not willing to wait 10, 15, 20 hours for my car to charge. But let me know if you guys feel me in the comments down below. And if you're from an agricultural community, you know, maybe you've been personally affected by these policies, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Now, like the farmers in India, Sri Lanka, the Netherlands, Germany, or the UK, those guys have been affected. I mean, these policies seem to benefit the centralist, globalist interests, while the small family-owned farms are left struggling to survive. I mean, heck, they don't even want us to plant our own food and grow our own food in our own land. What does that tell you guys? It's kind of like they want to force us to buy from the big farming companies who easily meet these goals, while the smaller ones are forced out to sell or shut down their businesses. They want to make sure we're 100% dependent on them. It's not a good position to be in. Now, according to some European Commission documents, this is precisely their strategy: to intensify agriculture by buying out or terminating small farms and reducing livestock. Well, they're certainly reducing livestock here in the United States. Like I said, just the other day, 18,000 cows just went up in smoke in Texas. I mean, how messed up is this, right? Now, the usual story, the politicians are getting their pockets lined by the big corporations and special interest groups, and they're putting policies in place that screw over regular people like me and you. And it's like they don't care about livelihoods or the future of our planet. All they care about is their bank accounts and their profit margins. I mean, can you guys relate? I'm all for profits, but not at the expense of, actual human beings. Nothing wrong with profits. Let's just play the game fair. Let me know in the comments if you guys have seen this happening anywhere you live. I personally think it's time for a change, but it's got to happen in a way that will work and benefit for everybody, not just the rich and the powerful. No surprise there, the plan to cut nitrogen emissions in the Netherlands has made farmers angry because it messes with their way of life. The BBB's slogan, "No farms, no food," really resonates with voters. The thing is, agriculture is responsible for nearly half of the country's carbon dioxide output, but the Netherlands only contributes to less than 0.4% of the world's emissions. The farmers there are already doing a great job. They're using less water and chemicals in their crops. Sri Lanka tried a very similar ban on the nitrogen fertilizer last year, and, well, it didn't go well. It caused a food shortage that made almost 2 million Sri Lankans poor, and it caused an uprising that got the government toppled. So if the Netherlands isn't causing most of the emissions, well, who is? I mean, why aren't we doing anything about it? It turns out that the richest 1% of the world has used twice as much carbon as the poorest 50% in the last 25 years. I mean, that's pretty messed up, right? But of course, if they make the rules, they're going to make the rules to benefit them. And these are unelected officials here. I mean, why can't we focus on the richest people instead of attacking the people who are just trying to make a living off the food and the land that they produce? This should be a collaborative democratic effort, and it's clearly not. Luckily, the Netherlands has a democracy, and the BBB is poised to become the biggest party there. So if people are feeling this way, they can't all be stupid or racist or something. Billionaires have carbon footprints that can be thousands of times higher than any one of us individual average Americans. So get this, guys. Since 1988, only 100 companies have been responsible for well over 70% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions. This is just crazy, right? Now, if you want to talk specific companies, ExxonMobil, BP, Chevron, and Shell are just some of the biggest polluters out there. And get this, guys. Members of Congress own up to $93 million in fossil fuel stocks. So we can already see where their interests are. But it's not just the big companies' fault. We actually need to look at how these corporations have a monopoly on power and how we can make them more democratic and localized. It's all about having those tough conversations and figuring out where centralized power is actually helpful and where it's not helpful. And let's be real, guys. We need to start including farmers in these talks too. But here's the thing, guys. Many of these big companies, they use carbon offsets to make up for their emissions. And that's not something that you or I can do as an individual. We need to start holding these corporations accountable and figuring out how to make real democratic change happen. Take the idea of carbon offset marketing, for example. So apparently these big companies like Disney, Gucci, and Shell have been buying forest carbon offsets to look good. But it turns out they're a total scam. A new investigation found out that more than 90% of these offset credits are actually just fake, and they don't actually reduce carbon emissions at all. And get this, guys, these companies have been labeling their products as carbon neutral or telling us that we can fly and buy new clothes without harming the planet. It's complete bull. Meanwhile, at these fancy conferences like COP26, they're all just patting themselves on the back for doing their carbon offsets while flying in on private jets. And guess who gets penalized for all this? The farmers and ordinary people, of course. The government will even buy up their farms if they have to. It's a total mess, and it's not even fair that the rich just keep getting richer. Meanwhile, the rest of us are suffering with the consequences of their decisions. The government just keeps talking about making changes that will actually make a difference, but they never actually do anything that will upset the rich and the powerful. Why? Because the rich and the powerful control the government. You guys know the game. It's always the regular people like farmers and stuff who end up getting screwed over. And now a lot of the net zero policies involve buying up land in other countries to offset carbon emissions, but as it turns out, it's a complete scam. The science behind it is sketchy at best, and a lot of times it means taking land away from indigenous communities. They're stealing our land, people. The investigation found that only a few rainforest projects actually did anything to reduce deforestation, and 94% of the credits had no real impact on the climate. It's even worse than useless. It's like pretending, and it's predatory. It's like they make the problem sound way worse than it really is, and then they lie about a solution. Not cool. But hold up, there's actually a solution that doesn't get enough attention. Nature itself. We can offset the remaining emissions by protecting nature and avoiding deforestation. It'd be pretty freaking sweet if the world just kind of worked like that and we could just keep doing whatever we want while nature fixes everything. But it's going to take some serious, significant, real change, and the people with the most power and influence are the ones who need to actually step up and make it happen. But let's be real, guys, they don't want to change because they're the ones that made this whole mess in the first place, and they're happy making billions of dollars a year. Seriously, why can't the massive corporations just take responsibility for their pollution? Oh, I know. Because it's way easier to point the fingers at the little guys that really can't defend themselves financially, like farmers and such. And to make matters worse, they're trying to create these carbon credits to make up for the emissions from fossil fuel vehicles. Shell is even claiming that it aligns with their avoid, reduce, and mitigate philosophy. What a joke, right? But let's get real here, guys. If we really want to address the energy crisis and actually make a difference, we need to radically change our business practices. The powerful elites are the ones that are in charge, and they're going to do anything to maintain the status quo. We need to disrupt their interests and listen to other voices if we want to see real progress. And can we stop accusing people of being far right or racist just because you have a different opinion? It's just childish, and it won't help us to save a single phantom tree. But hey, that's just my 2 cents. Like I've been telling you guys, we need to wake up here. These billionaire entrepreneurs and investors, they're taking us for a ride, and it's heading straight off a cliff. We need to free ourselves financially and ideologically here. And this is why I always advocate to adding to your income streams and diversifying your investments. That way you can keep your money flowing and actually get out of debt and become much more financially free much sooner. Just try it out. Check out some of my previous side hustle videos, or if you want me to make some new side hustle videos and dedicated videos on how to increase your income, let me know in the comments section down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and make sure to hit that notification bell. And for the best way to invest in gold, hit the link in the description down below. Now, I hope you guys caught all of that information in today's update. The big win that farmers and citizens won in the Netherlands. Who's really to blame for the carbon emissions? Hint, hint, it's the big corporations. And of course, what you can do to free yourself from their political and financial clutches. I know it's a lot to keep an eye on, guys, but this is the latest and most accurate on U.S. updates, timelines, and developments. Appreciate you guys checking out the channel. Please be kind to one another. Share this video, and I'll see you on the next one.